FOG Andrew here, and the Roy here from Family of Gamers. Welcome, Wargamers, to exciting, awesome video. All right, we're talking about something that's a little interesting and maybe a little controversial.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of chatter online, a lot of videos online of people talking about this, and they're basically pitting together two games and basically like kind of talking about which is better. People think one is better. People think the other one's better. So
let's settle the debate.
We're gonna try to settle the debate. At least give our opinions here. But we got Everdell versus
Wingspan.
Yes, the clash of the Titans here. So you thought actually because I told Ryan, I said I want to play Wingspan because I wanted to do this video, and you thought it was made by the same people, but it's not. They're completely different companies. They're not, really, they're not anything related with each other or anything. So, yeah, I mean, like, I guess we could just get right into it. Ryan, which one do you think is better?
I want to preface in saying that I like both. I'm not trying to, calm the potential, violent mob that's rising in favor of one of the games. I like both of them, but I, having played both, prefer Everdell to Wingspan.
Okay.
We actually just played Wingspan before filming this video.
Yeah. So we've done 2 games of Everdell and 1 game of Wingspan. I played like about 30 times. You've played once. I wanted you to play it and Everdell, so like it just worked out. So we can do this video. But yeah, you played Wingspan for the first time just before this video, actually. So
well, I like Wingspan. Like I did, I liked it, and it had some similar like resource gathering mechanic, and like I like the fact that you're playing on like that kind of like spotter journal, and you're like building up, and you could play your different birds in the different areas, like the wetlands and the forest. And it's all cool, but I think it's just missing that competitive edge. It just felt like the game dragged a little bit more than like what I would have wanted, and by the end it was just like, oh, who has the most points? And I was like, oh well, all right, that's the game. Let's clean up. Right. But I feel like with Everdell, it's more competitive. Like you're playing directly against people. Like you're taking, like there's no consequence to me taking a card as opposed to or gathering a resource because there's a lot of everything. Mm-hmm. But there is an Everdell because like I'm taking a berry spot. Like crap, like no one else can put it there, and it just like I don't know. And I feel like the towns and the anthropomorphic animal characters like. They just do like a little bit more to give you like the bonus than like than the birds do. So basically, how it works is like the birds are laid out. You choose to do something. The activation token with a whatever resource token you've decided to place, your brick plays across the activation of the birds, and you get the bonuses of that. I mean, it's good and it helped you out, and there is strategy behind it. But I feel like with Everdell, it's like, well, you really got to make the right decision, and you really got to know how to place your meeples and your characters, and you're running against time like so quickly because there's 4 seasons as opposed to what there was 5 rounds in this.
Well, there are technically there's 3 rounds in Everdell.
I meant
three seasons. There's 4 rounds in Wingspan. Right. So you start you go. Oh no.
What's the 4 seasons?
No, yeah, it is the 4. You're right.
It's the 4 seasons, but think about the resources being more finite than they are in Wingspan. So, like,
right.
You're running on scarcity, and, like, you're not always going to have access to it. So, like, I think it's more like, I'm starting to sweat this out. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I felt less stuck in Wingspan when I was just like, well, like, maybe I can't do this right now, but, like, I know how to do this. Like, you could think so far ahead, but because of how the mechanics are.
Right.
And I know it sounds like I'm really levying a lot of criticisms on it. I'm not. I just think they're, like, different games.
Yeah, and I think the reason why that people compare the 2 is because Everdell, you send out your meeples and they grant you actions. Wingspan, you're putting out your cubes, and which grant you more actions.
And they're essentially your meeples.
Right. You're buying cards which help you later on in both, and you're gathering resources by doing those actions. It's just the way that they do it is different.
Yeah.
So there are those similarities. I have also seen people say that, like, well, actually, what your point actually that I was going to bring up, and I'm glad you also brought it up, is that Wingspan is a little bit less competitive than Everdell. There is, though, the way we did the end of round goals. If you flip that sheet over, instead of it being like us, like if you have 4 eggs and I have 4 eggs for something, instead of us both getting the 4 points, it's whoever's in first or second place. So you that makes it slightly more competitive, but I feel like that's still, which I've played that way before multiple times. It's still not as like competitive compared to Everdell.
I just feel like you're very much, even despite that, I feel like you're still just very much in your own ecosystem with the birds. And in Everdell, it's shared. You are sharing space. You are sharing.
Right.
You're sharing what you can do on the cards.
And you also have the meadow. You have 8 cards and it's basically like an open hand for anybody to take in Everdell.
Right.
You know?
Plus, there's I was saying a finite amount of resources. There's a finite amount of character and building cards. So like there's like 3 of the monastery, let's just say, while opposed to like Wingspan, where it's like, well, there's 1 of everything, but like there's a million birds. You know what I mean? So it's like everything's doing a little bit to help you out in different ways, and like you don't really have to. Someone takes a card, it's like you weren't really looking for it. Like don't sweat it. Another good card's gonna come your way.
Well, there's 170 different. There's 170 bird cards, and there's 170 different birds in Wingspan, right? The actions that they can do are all like pretty much exactly the same. Like they it's like almost split up evenly throughout all of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like some can do the same thing as others. Some can do like that. That's the one thing. Right. But it's like very frequent, I feel like, that you're coming across this pretty much the same action type of cards. But it is varied because their actual wingspan is different, their nest is different, how many eggs they can hold is different, their cost, where they can go, and the points that they're worth at the end of the game. Yeah. So there are differences, but action-wise, they're pretty much all the same. But in Everdell, I feel like there's more actions you can do with the cards,
right. I would say that's the one thing I think Wingspan has on the uniqueness is that, the bird cards will have like a specific nest and a specific this and a specific point. But I mean, obviously there's point values in Everdell, but like, there's just like, I don't know, there's some niche things that each bird brings to the table that like, okay, like you're not getting into that full extent Everdell. It's still kind of there with like the different victory points and, you can sometimes place your meeples on those cards and gain benefits to that. Like, what the Storehouse Inn, I think, is one of them. But like, the point being is like, the variation is kind of both there. Yeah. I just think Everdell does it in a better competitive light, and I think Wingspan does it in a better like, hey, like birds, you like birds, you like board games, and you want to just have like an easy like. I would say it's a lot more chill. You kind of go out of Everdell hating people a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, that brings it back to it being a little bit more competitive. Me personally, like. Let's say like this is Everdell, this is Wingspan. It's like Everdell is like here.
Yeah.
It's very slightly above Wingspan.
Yeah, I want to hear me out. What does Everdell have that's unique?
It's the theme.
It has the tree.
Well, yes, but what
does Wingspan have that's pretty unique?
It has the birdhouse. Does have the birdhouse.
I kind of like the birdhouse better
than the tree.
Why can't the tree roll dice?
Well, there are no dice in Everdell.
Well, why can't it do something other
than
it
does.
Stuff?
It holds cards, and it has the reference for each season on the top. But that's the thing. Like, you don't have to play with the tree in Everdell, and you don't even have to play with the birdhouse in Wingspan. You just roll the dice.
I know. I just like the birdhouse better.
Yeah, I like the tree better, if I'm honest. But that's just we'll have to fight over that. But I like the theming of Everdell better. I just like the art in both is fantastic. But I think Everdell is just with like, I always mess up saying the word, anthropomorphic animals, I think is awesome. I think that's really cool.
Non-anthropomorphic
animals.
Yes,
these are regular
These are birds.
These are regular birds.
Government spies, but birds.
Yeah, government drone birds. We can't get controversial here. Like just that, and then like the whole thing, like you're trying to build up like a village or a town or a city to get ready for the next winter. I think I like that. I think that theming is just really, really cool.
Yeah, you're not really doing that with this. You're just getting
You're
there's
just
no
getting
theme.
birds.
You're just getting birds and
Well, you know,
chasing
the
objectives.
theme is that you are a bird watcher collecting birds in your habitat. That is
Right.
that is the theme.
Well,
But I
it's
don't feel like that's as strong as the theming in Everdell.
As I said, if you like birds and you like casual games, Wingspan is the game for you.
Yeah.
And if you're like a Wingspan fan, I don't want to don't take this as any like criticism. Like the game knows what it is what it is, and it's.
I mean,
we enjoyed it. We had a lot of. I enjoyed playing this.
Right.
But like if I'm going in the cabinet, I'm probably gonna reach for Everdell over Wingspan.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I wouldn't play Wingspan.
Yeah. No, I really, really like both, but I just lean a little bit more towards Everdell.
I think Everdell's a little bit more of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Contextually speaking.
Right.
So.
Right. There's more. I just think, not even just gameplay wise, I just think the theme is a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So. But like, if we were making a recommendation, like pick a both, see what you like better. I'm sure you'll like both of them in different ways. So.
Yeah, yeah. But that's about it. So I think for us, Everdell has slightly won compared to the Wingspan here. But that is it for this video, guys. Check out our link tree in the description below. It has our links to our social media pages, our Patreon page, our Discord server. What am I missing there? That's it, right?
You said Patreon.
Patreon, Discord, social media, podcast. That's it. The podcast is down there too. And there's also videos on the screen that you can check out. We have plenty of other videos on the channel that you can check out. And we want to thank our Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members for helping support the channel over the years. But that's it, guys. We'll see you in the next one.